What is going on, guys? This is just a video talking about Fire Pro Wrestling World. And is this game underrated? Now, don't get me wrong, they do have their community out there. They have people that play this game, but it's not a huge number in America. It's not. This is a big seller in Japan, but in the United States, I think it's sold an okay amount, but I don't think it's really like that popular. Doesn't seem like it is. It's fairly popular, but you know, there's some people that will tell you that this is the best thing out there when it comes to, you know, wrestling games. Now, you know, we're gonna look at some of these features. So here's some of my created talent. Now, there's two obvious reasons why the game isn't gonna reach high popularity when it comes to the American audience, and that is, one of them is because just the way the game looks. There's some people, they're not going to come close to touching a game like this. The graphics kind of look like, you know, the old 90s Street Fighter games maybe, or just an old game, maybe not that game, but just kind of looks like that retro gaming experience. The gameplay itself is pretty good. I definitely like the gameplay in this game, but you know, visually, I'll be honest, I can't really deal with it too much. I mean, I do like playing the game, but, you know, and this game has its downs, ups, you know. But anyway, you have your created wrestlers. You already knew that was in the game. But what about some of the other stuff that's in the game? Now, you actually create moves in this game, man. Like, you can actually create moves. We're going to take a look at some of the moves that I actually created, because I'm not going to create a move. It could be a little time consuming. I'm not going to do it here. I've done videos, you know. As you can see, all that stuff, as you can see, all them numbers and stuff. This stuff looks pretty complex, right? It looks a little advanced, you know, and it kind of is, you know, honestly. It's kind of, you know. So I'm going to load. These are some of my, you know, created moves. Let's take a look at this move here. How do you play this move? Let's see. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Whoops. We're going to play the move. It's like a reverse choke slam. Let me take a look at some of the... Take a look at some of the other ones. Got something called the helicopter crash. Let's go ahead and play it. That's one of the moves I created. I have a tutorial on this. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. This navigating around thing is a little bit of a hassle sometimes. Sometimes I have issues with it, you know, like getting out of it. And that's where, like, I get annoyed sometimes. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at some more. I got the F10. Now the F10 is in... It's not the same F10. Okay. I you know, some of the stuff I don't even, let's see. It's called You Are Screwed. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. He just drops him right on his head and just kind of paralyzes him there. Just shows no sympathy for the guy whatsoever. Okay. This move is called Over the Moon. Look at that. As you can see, he does like the DX pose as the guy comes down and lands on his neck right in back of him. He pretty much killed him on that move. Let's take a look at some more. This is Over the Moon 2. As you can see, yeah, you can create moves in this, and I was having a lot of fun with it, at the time. It's called the gorilla move. Yeah, that move, I don't know what happened. As you can see, and if I do have a tutorial video on this very game. I have a tutorial on how to create a finisher if that stuff looks a little confusing and irritating, because when I first played it, it was like that. But anyway, let's take a look at some more of these features here. You got your moves craft, your entrance craft. Entrance craft is just basically you create an entrance. This is what it is. You just create, And I think all this stuff here kind of like, people don't like the format in which you select stuff and create stuff. It looks a little bit like kind of complex or advanced, but it really isn't as advanced as it seems like it is. It's just the way it looks. Then you got your venue, equipment. You could change all this stuff, during the entrance, basically. Change your, camera angle here from, what point. But anyway, yes, you got that in here. So, that wasn't in the game in launch. You couldn't really like create entrances. You had an entrance, but they didn't have that craft on there. Then you got your parts craft. I will tell you, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like it. You have to do something on your PC and just do all this other stuff. It's too time consuming for me. I've never done it. I don't mess with it, but there's that. And then you got your showcase. Well, it's fighting road. It's like, you only have heavyweight. So you have this stuff here where you can do like almost like a showcase type deal. So yeah, you have these options. You can create championship belts. The belts are not, the create a title is, they don't have a ton of options. I mean, they have a couple of little basic options, create your belt here, create your strap, give it color, shape, like I said, the options are not extreme. Change the color. These are your options here with that. And then, so you can create belts on here. Obviously, you can create wrestlers, you can create moves, you can create a venue, you create a ring. You don't necessarily create, a venue, but you create a ring, which, you kind of create your venue like when you're doing your match, because you can just put it on anyone you want. These are the ones I created here. I created these rings. I got an Anarchy base ring. And I will tell you, Bare Knuckle World. Now, you could do like not just wrestling matches, but like MMA matches and stuff like that. And, So this is, these are my created rings. Got a kickboxing ring. So that is really cool. You can upload logos on here just like in WWE 2K. It's done kind of similar in a way, the way you upload them onto your game. It's a little similar. And you have a community creations too. I should do a video on that. I should do a video on community creations for Fire Pro Wrestling World, just to kind of give you an idea for those of you that have never done it. And we're going to go ahead and go into a match real quick here. Because, another thing that's really, really good about this game is your options. You have a heck of a lot of options for match types. You have your cage death match, which is basically just a steel cage match. They just call it that. Barbed wire death match is, like a hardcore match with barbed wire ropes. You probably figured that out. Then you got landmine match. You got landmines around the ring. SWA rules. It's kind of like MMA type rules in a way. S1 is striking only, so you can create wrestlers, give them only punches only, and give them boxing gloves, and there you have a wrestling match. You can do a kickboxing match too. You know, gruesome fighting is basically in the cage, like what would be, MMA basically. Now, you can use any wrestler for any type of match. So you could basically put somebody that has wrestling moves in that type of ring, in that type of cage, and he would do wrestling moves. It won't really look like an MMA fight, but it will if you use, guys that have MMA moves. It'll look like a fight. So that's something you have to keep in mind. With the match types, the wrestlers need to match the match types in order for the match types to really make sense. Otherwise, you could still just have fun with it if you don't do that. So basically, you have a heck of a lot of variety on match types. You don't even have to just be wrestling. You can do boxing, kickboxing, or just MMA. You can just create a crazy, wacky match. I created a boxing match with pinfalls one time. It was strikes, but my guys had boxing gloves, but then it was pinfalls. I created some wacky, just crazy stuff. So the variety in this is extreme. So we're gonna go to a match here. You know what? I'm gonna do a boxing match for you. I'm not gonna play the whole match through, but I'm just giving you like an example of what I'm talking about here. So there's my boxer. Well, actually, let me go to because I created a lot of boxers on here. So here's my boxer, and then I could take my ring, and you can create referees in this. I forgot to talk about that. You have referee, you can create referees in this. That's something very different. Here's your rule selection. Select your difficulty level. I like to go 10 on boxing matches. Give myself a little bit of challenge. Create your rules. TKO, 1 knockdown, 2, 3. You can do 5 knockdown TKOs. Now, not every knockdown is even considered a knockdown if they get up right away. Now, the clock moves faster in this than it does in real life, so you want to go 5 minutes or something. That'll be closer to 3 minutes. So here we have this here. You can critical. This is basically like KOs. If you put none, this match will go on for a long time. Now, there's no judges in this, so if it goes the distance, it's automatically going to be a draw. Now, if I do bare knuckle fights, I like to go high on the critical because the knockouts are more likely, So anyway, if you go low, the knockouts take longer to happen. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to it, so I can just show you what's going on here. Let's go ahead and jump in this. I'm just going to show you. I'm just giving you an idea of why Fire Pro Wrestling World is actually an excellent game. Let's go ahead. I don't need to see the ring. So here's my match. So you can basically just do a boxing match. I forgot to select my ring. Even when you tie up, it's they won't do any wrestling moves. They'll only do strikes. As long as as you can see, that knockdown didn't count because I popped up right away. So the rules are a little different because it's not technically a boxing match. And as you can see, look how fast that clock is moving. It's moving a little faster than regular, real time. So but anyway, you get the point I'm making. You can do your boxing matches. I got bare knuckle fights on here. I have MMA fighters on here. There's just so much variety in this game. And, you have your creative wrestler. I'm going to jump on that real quick I have a tutorial video on that as well, for create a wrestler. Let's go ahead and go fresh here. We're going to start blank. Let's go ahead and go to my appearance. You create your profile and all that stuff here. So, you have your head. And then up here, you can make it easier for yourself. Like, you can, non-human, you can kind of male, female. You can use what female-based faces are on here. You know, you could put a female's head on a male body, vice versa. Give a woman body with a man's head. You could do all that crazy stuff on here. Got your mask on here. Some of this stuff is a little weird, I will tell you that, because, you know, now if something is very weird over here, like you just want to go over here and delete it. That's all you got to do. You know. You can create different layers of hair. You could copy the hair color over like that. You know, it's pretty simple. First, some people think that's a little like complex, a little bit difficult. It's not that bad, you know. You just gotta kind of get used to it. Change the color of your trunks here. You know, do all that stuff. Let's take a look here. Change the size of your guy. You got female. Female is actually a size on here. As you can see, the shoulders change from female to small. You know, the shoulders are up a little higher on females, but they're less wide. So you got that going on, but that's obviously a male person. Change your fighting stance here. Change the size of your body parts, head, chest, whatever. You can make your character look a little fictional if you want to. There's a lot of options on your created wrestler on here, like for attire and hair and stuff like that. Anyway, that's this video. Yes, I will tell you. Now, this game is generally $49.99, and I think that turns people off a little bit. But this game does have New Japan Pro Wrestling. That, you know, those are the real wrestlers that are in it, and there's, you know, a lot of other generic wrestlers, basically based on real wrestlers, but generic versions of them. And I think that's one reason why it just isn't popular in the U.S., not quite as popular. They have their community. They're kind of popular, but it's just not a huge game, you know, in America necessarily. Anyway, that's this video. If you don't have this game and you were wondering about it, maybe this will give you a little bit of insight. I recommend the game. I think it's cool. Every now and then it goes on sale for $14.99. That would probably be the best time to get it. I don't believe it's on sale now. You know, it could be, but it's usually $14.99 when it's on sale. Anyway, that's this video. This game does have DLC you can get with the game as well, like a female roster that is based on real female wrestlers from a Japanese wrestling promotion.